Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ariail. Welcome back to another video. Today I have the Ram TRX, also known as the T-Rex, also known as the Raptor Killer, maybe until the Raptor R comes out. But until then, this is the king of the hill, and this is the most badass truck on the market today. So today, I'm gonna show you what you get for 6 figures on a pickup truck. But it's not just any pickup truck. This one has 702 horsepower via a 6.2 liter V8 that is supercharged. This thing sounds amazing and it looks even better. And today I'm gonna take it through with you guys. So without further ado, let's go through it. A big shout out goes to Steve Raymond Chevrolet here in Smyrna, Georgia. They actually have this TRX, even though it's pre-owned. It's still a current model, so why not shoot it? Because these things are incredibly rare, and because of the computer chip shortage, it's not going to get easier. So big shout out to them, and thank you to DJ. You've been a huge help, and again, you have come through supplying yet one of the coolest cars / trucks that I can get my hands on. So big thank you goes to him. And also don't forget that I have a TikTok. So if you guys want on the fly car things, pretty general, doesn't have to be necessarily reviews or anything like that, but cars in general, follow my TikTok. It is Ariail. The link's going to be in the description below, but I'm also going to show a screenshot essentially of my TikTok here. So normally I have to crouch down to do the video on the front end of a car, but on this one, safe to say I can stand. So overall, first thing you're going to notice is this thing is big, it's brolic, and this one's actually blacked out. So this one, you've got LED headlights, LED running lights, LED indicators, LED fog lights, and you do have front parking sensors as well. In addition to that, you're going to have this massive hood scoop, and it is functional because you do have to supply air to that giant V8, and you do have vents on top here that are heat extractors, so that way if you're running this thing to its gills, it can let go of some heat because that engine's got to produce a lot of it, okay? In addition to that, you've got Ram emblazoned all the way across, and yes, it is hollowed out, again, to feed more air to the engine as it needs. You do have tow hooks up front, so that way if you do get stuck, which I doubt you're going to, you can get out, or if you need to tow somebody else out, which will probably happen, you can do that in this truck. In addition to that, you do have the skid plate up front, and when I tell you, this thing, oh my goodness, that feels heavy duty. It just feels super heavy duty, which is nice. And you do have a front parking not parking sensors, and you do have a front facing camera as well on this truck, so that way you can see what you're pulling up to, because of course it can be a little hard to navigate this gigantic truck. Let's talk about the wheel and tire setup here. So you do have 18-inch wheels here that are going to be wrapped in Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tires, and these things are massive. They are actually going to be a 325 width, 65 series sidewall wrapped around this 18-inch wheel. They are absolutely massive, and they fit the bill on this truck, and they are blacked out wheels, which does look good on this black TRX. Some things to make note is that because of regulation based on the width of this truck, you are going to need lights actually right here, and you actually have them built into this hood scoop area as well. Let's not forget, on the rear of the truck, you have that same light on both sides because of the width of the actual truck itself. Again, typically I have to crouch down to review the front or rear of a vehicle. In this case, I don't, and it's actually kind of nice. So in the back here, you do have TRX emblazoned on the back. It is in black letters. Same thing with the Ram insignia all the way across. You do have 4x4 also on the tailgate. In addition to that, you do have this textured area of the bumper, so that way you can get onto the actual truck very easily. Dual exit exhaust. You do have rear parking sensors as well all across the back, and you have those same tow hooks back here, so if you're pulling somebody out, it'll be kind of easy. In addition to that, you do have LED brake lights, LED running lights, LED indicators, and an LED reverse light. And word on the street says this is actually where the radar sensor is for the blind spot detection system, similar to Ford's. So interesting there. You do have these little design pieces here. They look like vents, but they're not actual vents, but it does fit the nature of the truck, which is also really cool. Also, you do have a backup camera, federally mandated, and you do have an electronically releasing tailgate and it releases slowly. And in the back here, you are going to find nothing too interesting. Like I said, in the back, you're not really going to find anything too interesting. You do have LED lighting on the interior, so that way you can see whatever you're going to put in here. But this one does have the bed liner in it, which is also nice to see. But also just make note that this specific TRX does not have a tailgate to actually power itself back up. On a side note, I do want to talk about these vents on the side here. These are actually functional. Not only are they going to help aerodynamically, they're also going to help take away heat from the engine bay area and also from the wheel area if you are actually using this vehicle at high speeds or towing anything and the brakes get hot, the wheel setup gets hot, etc. You can actually see that this is functional. Let's get into the inside of the TRX. So first I'm going to start on the door card. So you do have this Alcantara everywhere, which looks really nice. Harman Kardon surround sound system, metal finish on all the things that you're going to touch. So the door handle, you have this metal texture here, and then I don't know what to call this texture, but it looks like those grid lines that you'll see on a utility truck box, which is kind of nice. So you do have leather on the top here, very soft, very supple. You're going to have storage right down here. You're going to have 2 cup holders built there into the door pocket and more storage in addition to that. And you do have this interesting little stylistic piece here. It feels like metal, which is honestly pretty nice. In addition to that, you have front seats that are full leather and they are heated. And you do have little pockets of Alcantara, which also feels really nice. They are going to be power seats with lumbar support. And like I said, they are heated and so is the steering wheel here. On the left-hand side, you've got your vents. You are going to have your headlight functions there. So now we're in the driver's seat and you can see with the gauge cluster first thing, manual gauges, and you do have a digital output in the middle with TRX branding. The steering wheel is leather wrapped and it is actually a flat bottom wheel. You have the same texture as the door on there, and look at the size of these paddle shifters, actually pretty big. Your infotainment controls there and your cruise control functions there. In addition to that, you're going to notice that this thing is incredibly spacious and it feels really nice. You got TRX branding on the actual pad of the dashboard there, and that piece actually opens, which is really cool. And you still have your glove box down there. You do have this giant 12-inch screen. It is vertically laid out, which I'm kind of torn between if I like it or not. You do have dual zone climate controls, so you can actually change that as you please. I'm keeping it on low because it is actually hot here in Georgia. And then I'm actually turn up the fan speed there. You've got actual knobs there, so for volume and for tuning, which is really nice, especially in the world of touch screens. And in addition to that, anything that you want to access, you access through the screen. So controls for the seats, heated seat, heated steering wheel. You can access the surround view camera system if you want, which is actually really cool. You can change all kinds of different views if you need to, front, rear. You get the overhead view and the back view if you need to, and you can just hit X in the top right hand corner, takes it away, and then you take it away again, boom, back to navigation. So you have all that accessibility right here and there. In addition to that, on the top you do have a small little storage area and another power outlet there if you need to charge a device, more Alcantara, and another Harman Kardon surround sound speaker. Also down here you are going to have your TRX badging again, and look at that. You press that button and look at what happens. It shows you exactly what's there. You can see the transmission settings, paddle shifter settings, stability control, suspension settings, steering settings. You can change all of that. You can see the different drive modes as well, which if you actually press these buttons, it'll actually change the drive mode and it'll show you right here, which is also really, really cool. Not only that, you get a special little graphic on the inside here. So if you change it, look at that. It's actually just really, really cool. I'm just gonna leave it on auto for now. So outside of that, you do have your traction control button, your 4-wheel drive locking settings, and then you do have your launch mode here with the Christmas tree. I'm not actually going to test it just because it is going to start raining here soon, and I do not want any issues with the rain at all. A lot of people are going to ask, and yes, this middle area wrapped in Alcantara does have a badge here. It shows you the VIN, shows you the boost pressure, shows you where it was built. Look at that, supercharged 6.2 liter Hemi, 702 horsepower, super cool. And I love the attention to detail. It just feels really nice. And then you open this up, Look at that. You get another fast charge USB, which is also really nice. And then you pull on this handle and expose a huge deep pocket. And look at that graphic. An actual T-Rex. That is just super sweet. And you do get another power outlet down there as well. And coin holders, which is really cool. Little coin slots. So when you're in the back seat, you're going to notice very similar things as the front. So you do have map pockets in the rear seats as well. They are going to be also finished in Alcantara, which is nice. You do have rear vents, USB, USB-C ports. You do have a little storage area here if you want to lay a phone there. Cup holders as well. And yes, you can see it's got this indentation, not only for if you're using a coffee mug, but if you're going to put a device there. And you do have a household plug here, so you do have a 115 volt inverter, which is also really, really nice. Outside of that, this one does not have a sunroof, but you do have LED interior lighting. You do have 2 speakers actually built into the roof, which is nice, and then you do have cup holders here in the middle. But you can take a look there. You can see you've got your storage in the door pocket as well. Both tiers, just like the front. And you can see there's a little bit of Alcantara on the outboard of the seats. So now I'm driving the Ram TRX, and it is raining. It's about to stop raining. So if you hear the windshield wipers, I apologize in advance. So first things right off the bat, I have the drive mode in auto, which is pretty much kind of a neutral setting. And let me tell you, the steering feel in this truck, the steering is actually pretty heavy, which kind of impresses me, to be honest. But the thing that impresses me the most, and this is going to be the strangest thing, but it's so easy to maneuver this truck, to be honest. Like, even though this thing's so huge, it's so easy to keep centered in a lane. It really is. This thing is awesome. And it's so cool because the slightest bit of acceleration that you put on it, and you can hear the supercharger whine. It is absolutely awesome. Just absolutely awesome. And this thing just eats up bumps. I mean, the things that would normally feel insane in any other car, this thing is just a small bump. But who cares? This thing is absolutely mad. One of the most insane vehicles that I've ever reviewed. And I think it's because 700 horsepower is borderline hypercar territory, and you're finding that in a pickup truck, you know. And this thing retails between 80 and 90,000 on the lower end, quote unquote, you know. And the market's so strong for these things. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. But just like that Camaro Z01 that I reviewed, this thing is actually incredibly tame. I mean, it really is. And the interior feels very refined, more refined than a lot of other Ram models from the past. Ram has always been laughed at for being super cheap, but yet workhorses, which is true. This one is no longer that. This thing is actually incredibly refined on the inside. You got some nice luxury goodies, but now you've got the power to back it up, which still blows my mind. Blows my mind. So one of my favorite things in this truck is the fact that when you press on the accelerator, not even a lot, just a little bit, you hear a supercharger whine. That wasn't even quarter throttle. That is absolutely insane. Holy cow. This should be illegal. A truck like this should be illegal by a long shot. There's no reason why a truck should be like this. No reason at all. This exhaust note is insane, and this thing is so incredibly smooth. Wow. Oh my goodness. Holy cow. This thing is so quick, it's insane. I think 0 to 60 on this thing's like 4 seconds flat, which for a gigantic pickup truck, there's no reason for that. But Dodge feels like everybody needs a high dose of Hellcat prescription, so they're giving them everything they've got, and they threw a Hellcat in everything, including the upcoming, or well, it's not upcoming anymore, including the Durango. Insane. So overall, I think this is a amazing truck. Feels really well put together. The steering feels incredible, brake feels incredible, suspension is really, really comfortable, yet it tells you all the information you need to hear when you're trying to drive this thing to a little bit of a limit. Power delivery is insane, as you'd expect from a supercharged V8. So overall, this is a fantastic truck. I think for 100 grand, this would definitely be a good purchase. So in saying that, don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. If you do like this video, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget, I do have a TikTok, so follow that as well. Again, thank you to Steve Raymond Chevrolet here in Smyrna, Georgia for lending me this truck. I'll see you guys on the next review.